Hey. um, so I've been doing yoga for almost 2 months now. I think I started like March 13th or something like that. So it's been like about a month and a half of yoga. And I've done it almost every single day. There's been some exceptions, like I don't know, when I've been sick or like when I've been traveling, like I wasn't able to do yoga those days, but when I was able to do yoga, I did it. And I just have to say, my life is completely different. Literally 0 to 100 completely different. Um I don't even know where to start. First I'll say what kind of yoga I've been doing. So, I've been doing yoga from this one YouTube channel called Satvik Yoga. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I've been doing their chakra series. So, if you don't know about the chakras, you should look that up. But the seven chakras, you have like crown, third eye, throat, heart, stomach, root chakra. So it goes like all the way down. And the chakras kind of deal with the energy in different areas of your body. And so something that I've struggled with my entire life is speaking. Um, I've struggled with expressing myself. I've dealt with extreme, severe social anxiety stemming from trauma, where, like, in my relationships with even my closest friends, I felt like there was a block in my throat. Like, I couldn't just be present. I couldn't express myself. I was lying all the time. Um, I wasn't able to, like, control kind of what came out of my mouth or how it came out, like the tone and the expression. So all of these things, or I would just go into complete freeze where like I just wasn't able to talk at all. And so I have a lot of issues. I had a lot of issues dealing with my throat chakra. So I was doing specifically throat chakra yoga, um, which just involves like stretching the neck, stretching the shoulders, like it's kind of like this entire region, and it involves doing humming too. And this YouTube channel is so great because like the first half of the yoga is like stretching your body, and then the second half is like a sort of meditation exercise, and it is so great in bridging the physical and the mental and the emotional. And guys, I cannot recommend this enough. um I wish I could like give give those yogis a huge fucking hug right now. Um, yeah, so that was huge. And I slowly like witnessed my voice start to unlock naturally on its own because I was just like stretching that muscle that clearly like needed to be given attention and care. And then once I had focused on my throat a lot, I realized like all of the energy that I was sending up to this area was like going upwards. So it was easier to speak, but then I found that it was harder to walk, and I was getting like weak in the knees, having trouble like with balance and grounding. And if you have trouble with grounding, that means you need to focus on your root chakra, which is the chakra all about your connection to the earth and about your like stability and strength. And the throat chakra and the root chakra are actually mirrors of each other. So you'll find that like a lot of the poses are almost inverse. And so after about a week of doing throat chakra yoga, I started incorporating root chakra yoga and doing them together. So I would like usually rotate. Well, this is my routine, okay? So first, I would start with like 5 minutes of like deep breathing, like laying on my mat, closing my eyes, and just literally manually breathing. So breathing in for 4 and usually out for 8, or something around that pattern. And then I would go into another 5 to 7 minutes of humming, just doing various humming, like or sometimes like woo, or sometimes like ah, like literally like random aw sounds, and just to like stretch out the mouth area. And then I would go into the 2 yoga videos. So overall, this is about like an hour of yoga a day, an hour of, I don't know, attention for my body a day. And wow, like, guys, I'm a completely different person. I'm a completely different person. Number one, I don't have social anxiety anymore. I I literally don't have social anxiety anymore. There's still instances where like I feel like the old role of social anxiety or the old voice of social anxiety come up, but now I know how to notice it and hear it out and almost let it dissipate, kind of release it and move through it. And it's been super healing, and I am incredibly confident. I have no trouble speaking, and I have no trouble with silence either, because I realized a huge part of social anxiety for me was the fear of silence. And that's why I was always scrambling to fill the space, but I didn't have control over what came out, because all I wanted to do was just get rid of the silence, because to me, silence felt dangerous. It felt like a space where an old trauma loop could play back, like I would be abandoned or, I don't know, excluded or left out, so I would try to fill that space. But in the past, part of the trauma was also like when I tried to express my truth and tried to speak out, I was silenced. So I was told that silence was the only way to stay safe, and silence was also dangerous at the same time, which is why my body locked into this freeze where like I wanted to speak but I couldn't, or I spoke and I regretted it, like this back and forth push and pull. And so yoga has really helped me heal that internal war inside of me, because it really is a war. Like, it is a battle that was invisible to everyone but completely real to me. That's the insane thing about anxiety and depression and whatever you might deal with. The hardest thing about a month and a half of daily yoga is that it was a month and a half of daily yoga. So even when it's hard, which it was hard at the beginning to motivate because you're not flexible, you don't really believe that it can change anything at the beginning. Like, when nothing has changed, it's hard to believe that something can change. So you almost have to like step into the darkness and hope that you're gonna find the light even though you're blind. And I did. And the hardest part about that is just the dedication. You have to do it even when it's hard, and trust the larger process, trust the outcome. And so you really need to be able to build a relationship with yourself. But when you apply that dedication, that relationship builds naturally, and your body starts to trust you more. And so your body will naturally start to create that sense of safety because it trusts you, if that makes sense. So yoga is really all about building a relationship with yourself. And it's definitely really hard to stay dedicated. Like, I feel like I have to acknowledge that, especially on days where you're like extra tired, you didn't sleep super well, you're like super busy, and you're just like, I can't make time for yoga, like I can't do it today. And honestly, on those days, I let myself not do yoga. And all you have to do is just return back to it. Forgive yourself and then return back to it when you can. Because yes, like later on when I had, when I had some momentum, it was easier to like kind of do it on days where I was extra tired or, didn't feel like it. But at the beginning, forgiveness is really important, because when you forgive yourself and when you're kind to yourself, it creates space for more possibility. It creates space for more change, because it's crazy, but a lot of the reason why we feel so stuck and so unable to move is because we're so hard on ourselves. It's because we are holding an iron bar over our heads. And you can't actually grow or expand or feel safe when you put so much pressure on yourself. Like, that even works in the physical world. Like, if you crush a flower with a rock, that flower is not going to grow, it's going to die. But I'm like trying to come up with like an analogy on the spot, but it's kind of tricky. But anyways, that's another reason why I love yoga. Yoga is all about gentleness. It's all about being kind to yourself. It's not like those intense like fitness workouts where you're like, okay, like now we're gonna lift 20, now we're gonna lift 50, now we're gonna lift 100, now we're gonna like fucking lift like you know, or it's not like, okay, now we're gonna do like 50 crunches, like now we're gonna like do like 1,000 push-ups and clap and clap and clap. It's like, no, that's not yoga. Like, that's why I have never been athletic. I have never been like one of those fitness people who's just really into like intense workouts. But with yoga, I'm finding that you can build that strength naturally. You can build it without the intense pressure and the intense friction of a high calibration workout. You truly can. It's easier, it's more fun, it's more relaxing, you feel better, because when you do that like high intensity fitness, you still have to stretch after and before. If you don't stretch after and before, then you're basically just breaking your body, you're breaking your bones. The stretching is where the muscles actually build. And that's just scientific. You can look that up. So, yeah, 1 hour of yoga a day and about 10 to 15 minutes of meditation and humming a day, you're golden. You are golden. For me, the way I make time in my schedule as a college student is I usually will wake up about 2 hours before my 9:30 class at like 7:30, and I'll usually take a shower and then I'll do my yoga, and then I still have some time before class to get ready and take a walk to class and all of those things. So you do have to intentionally carve out time. You do have to map it out. Like, intention is the most important thing. And I think intention and dedication go together, because if you are intentional, you really can't go wrong. If you are intentional and kind to yourself, you can't go wrong. I just want to say I completely understand how hard it is when all you want to do is change, but you are just too exhausted to try. And why am I already welling up? Because like I have been that person, bro, my whole life. You are so tired of feeling stuck and being stuck and feeling like you're trapped in a cage of your own making, and you just don't know what to do. And so you end up doing nothing. And sometimes you need to forgive yourself for doing nothing. And when you forgive yourself for doing nothing, you realize that your body naturally wants to move and wants to heal and will gravitate towards the things that make it happy and the things that bring it joy, and that motivation will seed on its own. But it really starts with forgiveness. When I finally forgave myself for not being the person that I wanted to be, for not doing all these activities, for not being so social, for not having so many friends, for not wanting to go to every party, for not being able to do all my homework, or for not getting straight A's. That forgiveness is the space where growth happens. And I can talk about that more. I'm super big into forgiveness. I just truly think like forgiveness is love. Forgiveness is joy. Forgiveness is life. Not in a religious way though. Not in like a Christianity sense, but in a more like broad, universal, spiritual soul way. And yoga is all about that. So, I don't know if like anyone will see this who's kind of been on the brink of like starting yoga, or kind of wants to get into movement or experience their emotions somatically, because the body processes the emotions before the mind does, and the body stores the emotions. So really the only way to help those emotions and stuck emotions flow through is through movement. Yeah, there's just so much I could talk about here. Like, I feel like this video needs like low-key 10 parts, but maybe this will just be like the summary intro video, and I'm happy to do more because I'm so passionate about this, and I'm so grateful for yoga, and I'm so grateful for movement and meditation, and I just want to share it with everyone and let them know, because sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes no one ever tells you, and so you don't think it's an option, but I want to be the person that tells people it's an option and it works. So, yeah.